look, I've got to admit this. I have cooked a falafel on an iron.
What a hotel hack that is.
Just saying, you can do that. I mean, I was at a venue in Norfolk once and there was a fire on stage and nobody mentioned it.
They didn't point it out to you.
There was smoke and flames and they're all, this is all part of it, isn't it? At what point do you think this isn't part of the show?
As you're about to embark on the tour, Bill, is there anything that you that put in the Bill Bailey bag to take with you as you go on tour around the UK? What are the essentials?
I like to make my own food and cups of tea in my room.
In a hotel room?
In a hotel room, yeah. So I'll take all my tea. I'll take a coffee maker with me because you can never get a decent cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So that's essential. I use a little AeroPress, a little hand press to make coffee.
What kind of food are you making in your hotel room on the bed?
Sometimes I've got to admit this. I have cooked a falafel on an iron.
What a hotel hack that is.
Just saying, you can do that. All
So
right?
talk us through that. How's that work?
Well, you get a falafel, right? You get, go to a falafel store.
Yeah.
And don't bother with all the bread and all of that. Just say you want a bag of falafels, and then you go back to and you get the iron on, and then you press the. Be careful, obviously, be very, very careful.
Yeah.
But then you press the falafels into the iron, and toast them. You can toast falafels on a travel iron.
Toasty Tuesday.
Toasted cheese. We'll have to try that.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be so good.
Do you not think the older type of hotel room, you could do what you've just described, but with a trouser press?
Yes.
Like a Breville.
I did try and put a sandwich in a trouser press once, but it didn't work out.
What a way to go if that was to go
heat,
wrong.
You can't get the right number of heat in it. It just sort of fell to the bottom of the trouser press, and that was it. It was a very disappointing thing. You can't get the heat you get in an iron is much better.
Yeah.
You'd be better off cutting the sandwich into small bits and pressing it onto the iron.
Two irons.
The moisture, I
Two
guess, as
irons.
well, because obviously if you've got a steam iron,
Yes.
you're imparting a bit of moisture onto it.
That's right. You can exactly. You can steam. You can do all sorts of things with it.
But you could get two irons.
Two irons. You
like
get two irons
defibrillator
together,
type thing.
like that, and then crush the falafel in between the two of them. Yeah, no, you're right.
Imagine phoning down to reception saying,
Yes.
what's just happened there, and there's a fire, and then believing you. Be like, it's just Bill
Oh,
mucking around
Bill
again.
mucking around.
Of course
He's
he's doing
him again.
falafel on his iron.
He's him again with his falafel and iron shenanigans. I mean, I was at a venue in Norfolk once and there was a fire on stage and nobody mentioned it.
They didn't point it out to you.
They didn't point it out. And as I said to them, I've got to say, I got quite shirty with them. I said, nobody was there was smoke and flames, and they're all, this is all part of it, isn't it? At what point do you think this isn't part of the show? That's what I'd love to know from audiences. Now, everyone assumes that it's all part of the show.
Yeah.
Something happens. This is it's all a plant, isn't it? Someone shouts something out. You planted them. No, I didn't. What, the bloke that shouted out dolphin in the middle of the nutter? No.
You need a safe word. A little bit like the BDSM community.
Yes. Oh, really?
Well, apparently.
Oh, apparently. Oh, you seem to know a lot
They just
about that.
you need a word.
A
don't
safe word. Just something like...
you? Well, you agree it before you get going. I don't want to sound like I'm part of the community. I just...
So what you're saying is every gig should be like some BDSM set. Is that what you're trying to imply?
Yeah, it's a poor analogy. I'll be honest with you.
It's you're stretching the point there, and I realise the phrase "stretching a point" is also problematic.
Well, let's just start by saying what an amazing colour you are.
Oh, thanks very much.
You've been out in the sun. What's been going on with you?
I've been out in the sun. Yeah, I've been in Indonesia.
Check him
Check him out. Yeah, that's it. That's how I roll. And
just fact-finding tour or holiday or
yeah, fact-finding. No, actually, I was visiting a place in central Sulawesi. We went there to recce a place called Toraja,
okay,
and we got invited to a funeral. Now you sort of think,
as you do,
and if some Indonesians came over here and said, "Would you like to go to a funeral?" It wouldn't. It doesn't have quite the same appeal. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're standing around a crematorium on a sort of drizzly Tuesday morning, but this was spectacular, and it was an amazing experience. I ended up as a pallbearer.
Can I a technical question? Were you
Yes.
over the shoulder pallbearing or were you underarm?
Underarm.
Okay, that's harder, right?
Because
isn't it?
I'm actually, I don't know if you know about the Torajans, but I'm about a head taller than most of them.
Oh, right.
So I initially put it on my shoulder, and then the bloke on the other side's go, hey, 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 the whole thing's tipping over. And I thought, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? You invite someone's funeral and then tip the poor bloke out of his coffin. He rolls down there, all that flipping Bill Bailey came in. He only ruined the funeral. So it was a wonderful, uplifting kind of life-enhancing moment, as I think funerals should be. It was a celebration of this bloke's life. And another thing, which is a curious element about this, was that in Indonesian culture, in Torajan culture, an image, an effigy of the person who's died is carved out of wood and placed in a chair and carried on a litter and is placed at the sort of side of proceedings and watches the whole proceedings.
Wow.
Which is a fantastic... I am definitely having that for my funeral.
That'd be good, an
I want
effigy.
a carved effigy of me watching the entire proceedings.
Wow.
It was.
Thoughtifier is your tour. Is this part of the show?
I don't. This is it. You need a safe word.
It's not right.
I'm fine.
You sure you're right? We can hear your voice going a little bit there. Do you want some water or something?
I got some water. Everything's fine.
Okay, good.
He gets very emotional about Indonesia.
It does.
Bill, he burst into tears about the funeral. It's so sad. He's a lovely bloke. He's such a lovely bloke, and I nearly tipped him out. On the floor. I'm so sorry.
Some of the arenas you're
Yes.
playing on the tour starts 12th of February. Are massive.
Yeah.
If you could because we know you could with your gifts, if you could seamlessly fit into any band, and we're not having to go current, could be history.
Yes.
Which band would you like to seamlessly fit into?
If I would love to seamlessly fit into, I would love to fit into the band called Heilung. And they
Heilung.
are a Danish, Norwegian sort of pagan metal outfit.
Not High Lawn.
Heilung.
Heilung. Okay.
Heilung. It's spelled Heilung. Heilung means healing, and they perform wearing antlers. And
Is that a cult, Bill? Sounds like a cult.
Look, if you were to see a picture of them, you would say definitely cult. but it's more than that. It's more than that. They wear and they wear a lot of capes.
Oh, here we go.
They've got makeup on, and there's a shaman, and they play with bums. They use bums as well, obviously, but they all got bums.
We're back to the safe word, Bill.
Back to safe word. They use animal bones to play drums. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. And so they've got electronics as well. So it's a kind of a weird hybrid between ancient pagan Norwegian metal and electronica. It's fantastic. They're amazing gigs.
And if you went into our price, what kind of section of the
I don't know, wait,
are they in?
The occult section, I believe.
Pagan, Norse, Bronze Age. I don't know. It's been tricky. I think they've got their own section.
Fair enough.
So, Bill, you won Strictly Come Dancing.
Yes.
When you are intensely trained for that amount of time to dance, have you still got the dancing in you, or when you need to pull some moves, is it still there, or do you forget it a little bit like when you revise for a biology at A level? I can't remember anything about a shrimp.
About it. No, that's right. I think the thing is that you go through an experience like that, you will always have it in you because the sort of the training, the kind of the skills that you learn, I think probably stay with you
right
for the rest of your life. Obviously, the training you're not training every day, so then that would be something which you do tend to sort of notice. You become less mobile, but I try to sort of stay mobile as much as I can. And I do. There's a bit of dancing in the show. There's a bit of Charleston.
Lovely.
There's a bit of that, bit of dancing, bit of disco. I mean, you can't not do it now.
Well, I mean, on that theme with the TV side of things as well, and you don't have to comment on this if you don't want to. Maybe you're already involved and you don't want to say anything about it, but would you ever do The Masked Singer? And if so, what would your outfit be? Or what would you be? Who would you be?
Oh, yes. Now, I don't know. Because what are some of the characters? I mean,
well, there's one that's an air fryer.
Chicken Caesar I saw the other day.
Yeah.
Chicken Caesar, air fryer.
What's your favourite thing?
Is
what
there
item?
In the whole world?
In the whole world.
Antlers.
Yes.
Antlers. I'd like to be a reindeer. Some sort of mythical. Do they have the animals? Do they have deer?
Anything? Yeah.
Like a
anything.
Minotaur.
Minotaur. That'd be so good.
I'll be Minotaur.
It's Minotaur. That'd be so good. Watch this space.
Comedy, music, dancing, there's probably nothing you can't do. You're a QPR fan. It's been a challenging season. Do you think you have something to add to the world of football?
Oh, Lord. I mean, if I could, I would. I mean, I do think that I often say this about QPR. It's a sort of, you think just when hope seems to be coming over the horizon, it's snatched away cruelly. We need a decent striker. I said, and then somebody said, what, a Brazilian striker or something like that? I said, no, just any Brazilian. Didn't have to be a footballer. Just like a postie or something, so a Sparks or a Carpenter or something, because they're all handy.
Yeah.
I've been to Brazil, and I'm literally anyone. People selling falafels in the street. You'll do.
Get him on. Now, Bill,
Wow.
I didn't realise what a bird. Were you a bird watching fanatic? Would that be a correct term? I took my daughters twitching yesterday.
Oh yes.
In Two Tree Island in Essex, down the road from where we live in Leigh-on-Sea.
Nice.
And
love the cocklebeds.
lovely cocklebeds down there and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of newbies in the world of bird watching.
Oyster catchers.
What, I don't know. We were just wearing jeans and that.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know what kind of stuff any tips on like what to go in there with to start off bird watching? What do we need?
Well, I would say initially you need a good pair of binoculars.
Yep.
That's essential.
We haven't got those yet. The
well,
kids
then
have got a little orange pair of like kids binoculars, but so not so good.
Okay, I think that's if you don't necessarily need them. I mean, you can see birds with the naked eye quite easily, particularly if there's lots of them. Particularly if you're in like water birds, you see like masses of gulls, you see oyster catchers, you might see sandpipers, curlews, red knot, all sorts of things. But if you want to get into the sort of detail of the bird and identify them, then binoculars are pretty essential bit of kit.
Okay.
And I would say the magnification is 8x42. That's what you want to end up.
Is that the sweet spot?
That's the sweet spot.
Are you always like that? Richie's got a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, but mine are for train spotting and cricket.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't really need them. You don't need binoculars for train. How far away are you from the flipping train?
He's got a good point.
That you need a pair of binoculars. Surely you're on the platform, are you?
No, I think there are parallels to be drawn between train spotting and bird watching.
There's a train in the distance behind a tree. I don't quite make it out.
Yeah, but I imagine there's a rare curlew that is coming from Finland
All right.
or something or other.
Go on then,
okay,
yes.
work with
Yeah.
me here.
Yes.
But it's only been spotted in the middle of a certain forest.
Right.
Okay, so you've then got to travel to that.
Yes.
Okay, so the parallel with the train would be, where would I rather see it? Platform 3 at King's Cross, or yomping across the field with a pair of binoculars charging out of a tunnel.
Right. Well, isn't it going at quite speed, though, isn't it, when it's coming across the tunnel?
That's why I need my 8x24s.
Yeah, but by the time you got the thing's gone, isn't it? It's flown by in a blur.
That's a good point.
I don't know. I mean, that's something I know nothing about. I defer to your greater knowledge on.
One thing
I defer to yours on birds.
Thank you very much.
It's good that you guys have reached some form of consensus
I don't want
between
us
you.
to get
Thank
into
God for that.
hobby.
We don't want to kick off about spotting.
But you've drawn some
All
lovely
birds.
lovely bird pictures, which and are you drawing them as you're watching them, or how are you seeing them and drawing them?
What I tend to do is I photograph them, and then I'll use a photo to draw.
Nice.
From so I love drawing. It's become a great passion of mine the last few years. I draw butterflies and bees and birds. I just think it's enormously satisfying, and also it's a great way of identifying them. And so what I do, I'll take a picture first, and I'll work off a photo. But I might take about 3 or 4 photos and get a composite.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a big passion of mine.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go bird spotting, take a photo of a bird, draw a bird.
Yes.
We've learned about birds. We've learned about what being a thoughtifier is. I want to know a little bit more about your musical beginnings.
Yeah.
Obviously, once again, we would expect a plethora of instruments to be seen on this big tour that you are starting in February.
Yep.
Do you have in your mind or memory a music teacher that kind of started you on your journey? Mm-hmm. And if so, what would they say right now for how you are using your skills?
Well, I would. I mean, the one who would leap to mind would be my music teacher, Linda Phipps, and she was a piano teacher and a music teacher, and she was immensely influential in me, my sort of musical life and my early sort of studies, because she was she had infectious enthusiasm about it, and she loved performance, and I think she would really appreciate it, and she would love the fact that I've kind of taken music that I learned at school and kind of run with it. And in fact, I was very lucky, just because she died a few years ago. But before that, she came to one of my shows and she absolutely loved it.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things that she taught me was when I was at school, I got asked to perform at a local concert hall, a recital. And it was a big deal from somebody who was like, I was 17, nearly 18. Incredibly nerve-wracking thing to do. And she encouraged me to do it. She said, you can do it, and you'll be able to do it. And so it was through her encouragement that I actually kind of achieved that. It was a bit of a big milestone at the time. And yet, you know what? Even now, as I walk on stage in any venue, like an arena or something, I still hear a voice in my head saying, you're able to do this. You're able to perform more than you think of. You know what I mean? That you're capable of more than you think you are. And I think that teachers generally have an enormous influence through people's lives, you know, if they give them encouragement at the right time.
But do you think that we used to get taught music in not such an encouraging way? Because, like, you know, like I was taught to play clarinet and kind of hated it, and my eldest daughter was on recorder and wasn't into it. But you have such fun with music. Do you think that the fun in music is kind of taught to kids at such an early age, or do you think we could do better?
I think we could, and I think that the sort of, you know, what the perception of learning an instrument is I think a bit limited. I think that, you know, as you say, I mean, I'm sure many of people will remember, certainly of an older vintage, of the kind of, you know, being forced to play a guitar or a recorder, and then it'd just be like some sort of torture.
London Bridge is falling down type stuff.
Exactly, that's right. You know, but actually, you know, learning an instrument and playing music with other people is more than just music. It teaches you all sorts of other things about collaborating with others, working with others, being part of an ensemble, and also, you know, if you're in a band, like I was in a band, turning up for rehearsal, you know, other people relying on you, and, you know, there's a whole bunch of other life skills that music teaches you. That's not just playing the instrument.
Bill, it's brilliant to have you on. We have come full circle. So just tell us, Thoughtifier.
Yes.
Where can people go and get tickets?
Well, I'd say go to my website, which is billbailey.co.uk, and then all usual outlets.
Well, it's going to be amazing, and it is such a pleasure as ever to have you on the show. Bill Bailey, thank you.
Thank you very much.